it's Milana Mil, and the first thing I want to say to you guys is thank you so much for 400 subscribers. I really didn't expect to reach to 400 this fast, considering the fact that I only started to become active this past month, so I was positively very surprised. Now, I don't know if I should make some kind of 400 subscribers special. I was thinking maybe a Q&A or something else. Not so sure what you guys want to see, but I was thinking of doing Q&A at some point. Anyway, so, just in case if you have something you want to know, leave a comment below and ask a question, and you can ask as many questions as you want. There's no limit, and there's no stupid questions either, so, just ask away. And for this picture, again, I'm drawing fan art of Moonlight play because the game is absolutely gorgeous, and I just love this kind of Asian, Chinese, medieval kind of thing, especially because it's a little bit fantasy but not over the top. So while I'm painting this picture, I thought that we could talk about or answer the question. Actually, I'm gonna be answering the question and give my opinion, but is it bad to start drawing with anime? That's the kind of question that I want to tackle this time, because many people kind of debate this. I've seen a lot of people, debate whether you should start with realism or anime, and which is better and which is worse. And the answer to this question right away, should you start with anime or should you start with realism? Or to answer even furthermore, is starting out with anime art a bad thing? And the answer is no. When you start drawing, the first and the foremost, the important thing is that you discover a passion towards art. If you do not enjoy drawing realism, but you do enjoy drawing anime and manga, then draw anime and manga. It's really that simple. I started drawing anime and manga, and let me tell you, realism is not gonna run away. It's, you can always go back. You can always be like, okay, I can practice realism. You can do it whenever you want. So when you start drawing, just be happy, draw what you like, and don't care too much what other people say, because I wouldn't be here drawing, or in fact painting, this really complicated mountain setting that took me way longer than I expected. And this was supposed to be a simple work, obviously. But really, if it wasn't for anime and manga, I wouldn't be here, because believe it or not, I used to hate drawing before I discovered anime and manga. That was something that got me into art, and if it's something that you enjoy, then you should definitely draw it. Now, if we go deeper in the question and wonder, do you need to draw realism at some point? It really depends on your goal. If you want to become a professional artist at some point, which is my dream, my dream, but but if you want to become a professional artist at some point, yes, you do have to learn realism. And if you want to improve, then yes, you do have to learn realism. It doesn't mean that your realism has to be perfect, that everything has to be top notch, It just means that you know the basics and the fundamentals, and understand the shapes and how realism is formed, because even something like anime and manga is based upon realism. That's why people usually debate that you should start with realism, because you have to know the rules until you can break them. And I usually do agree that you do have to know the rules before you can break them. But if your hobby is drawing for fun, and especially if you're really a beginner, then draw what makes you happy, and don't care too much about whatever you are improving or not, as long as Of course, if you choose to draw anime and manga and you draw nothing else, and then you wonder why you don't improve, well, there's your reason. So it's a kind of a you know, your choices affect yourself. So I've seen people complaining about the fact that they are not improving when they never step outside of their comfort zone and actually try to improve. But if you're not one of those people and you're like, for now, I want to draw for fun, I don't care about anatomy, I don't really care about, you know, becoming a Picasso or someone else, then, you know, you have nothing to worry about. Just, you know, do just you do you, boo, and be happy with that. And what else could I say about this? But not really. If someone tries to force, if you're like a beginner, and you know, if someone just tries to force the realism upon you, and you have no intentions to improve, then, you know, you can just be like, well, you know, I'm not trying to improve, I'm just drawing because it's fun. You know, you can just tell them that, and hopefully they will get the message. Of course, you know, when you're doing art, even if you're a hobbyist or professional, people are always gonna judge you, and if you post your work on the internet, it's always gonna be criticized. So I do wish that, you know, whatever you choose to draw, whatever is your passion, whatever you want to improve or not, you need to understand that when and if you post your work online or show them to people, there's always going to be people who are going to criticize you, and they're going to give you, some are going to be mean, some are going to be helpful, but you know, you just have to learn to take it because it's online. And you know, if you post something online, you cannot expect only positive feedback. There are going to be people who will point you out to improve, even if that is not your aim. But you know, if you post your work on the internet, that is to be accepted, and that's just something that you gotta deal with. But overall, it's really about, you know, whatever you find to be fun. Like, I like improving, I think it's fun. That's why it's not a big deal for me, but I can understand that there are a lot of people who, you know, who use art as a stress relief, and they just really don't want to get any extra stress from drawing, which can happen if you constantly worry about whether your work is good or not, and whatever you should draw something you don't actually like. So draw what you like, be happy, and you know, really just enjoy your work, and that is the most important thing. So the conclusion really here is that, you know, starting with anime art is not a bad thing. You can always go back. Realism is not gonna run away, it's not gonna disappear, you can always go back. I do many times. Like, you know, my style is semi-realism, something sort of right now, but it used to be very, you know, shoujo manga, like shoujo, yeah. And and you know, my style has changed a lot, but you know, even now I go back to realism and I go to practice, you know, basics, believe it or not. There's never something that you cannot learn from the basics, even if you think that you're an expert, and you know how to draw various kind of things. Most of the time you still lack on the basic level, and you know, I go and draw realism sometimes. I go and practice, you know, very stupid, boring, basic things that everyone expects you to know, but you don't. So, you know, draw what makes you happy, and when you want to practice, then yes, you have to learn realism at some point, but it shouldn't be like forced upon you. And of course, if you're in art school or something, they will, that's a different story, and they may try to push you, try something different, but you know, in the end, just be happy with your work, and that's really all you need in this magical art journey. But the picture is ready, so bye bye!